Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have my daughter with me and we are going to make ring donuts. So these are still from the Great British Baking Show Love to Bake Cookbook. But you know, it's a classic, and so I thought we'd enjoy making them together, right Anna? Yeah, all right. So the first thing we need to do is get 500 grams of strong white bread flour. So I've already got flour in here. You can help me push it in? All right. Okay, so 500 grams of that. And then we need to add our sugar. So we have 50 grams of caster sugar today. Great work. Okay, and then we have yeast. Now it's the fast action dried yeast. It says 10.5 grams. I have 10 to 11 grams. My scale does not go out that specific. Probably should, but it doesn't. There we go. All right, just a little bit more. Perfect. All right, and salt. We need to put salt in there. So I've got half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. Good work. And it just says mix to combine. So I'm really just going to take this because, again, the dough hook doesn't really mix the dry stuff really well. So we just got that mixed in there, right? Okay, now I do have already warming on my stove back here 250 milliliters of milk. Okay, so I've just gently on low heat been warming that up. And I'm going to add butter to it. So it says 75 grams of unsalted butter. Okay, so some butter and some milk, huh? And so it just says to stir the butter into the pan. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a minute to melt, to warm up. Okay, so I basically just warmed it up till it's warm to the touch. So my butter is mostly melted. There's a couple little chunks in there, but it should be all right. But it doesn't say to have it fully melted. It just says stir the butter into the pan and then pour the mixture into the mixer. All right. So again, warm to the touch for the yeast, but not much more than that. All right. Now we want to add eggs. So we have 2 lightly beaten eggs.
I did it with Mom.
You did, yes. And our vanilla. So we have 2 teaspoons of a vanilla extract. Good work, kiddo. Yep, it's in there. All right, and now I'm going to mix on a low speed to combine. And then it says increase the speed to medium and knead the dough for 5 minutes or until smooth and elastic, and it starts to come away from the sides of the bowl. So start with it low to combine, and then medium for 5 minutes. I'm not going to go up as medium on this mixer, but knead it for 5 minutes. Okay, it does look like it has kind of started to come away from the sides, so I'm going to call that good. It looks smoother. Oh, it is quite sticky. So I'm just going to push this out of the way just a little bit because I'm going to
feel it.
You want to feel it? Feel it on my finger? Yeah, kind of sticky, huh? All right.
It's kind of sticky.
Yeah, so I'm going to lightly flour my work surface just a little bit.
It's sticky.
It is kind of sticky because it says to turn it out, turn the dough onto a lightly floured work surface and shape into a neat ball. Which, this is going to be kind of hard. This is pretty sticky, isn't it, kiddo?
Yeah, we might need to put this in the refrigerator. Let it not be sticky.
You think it'll not be sticky in the refrigerator?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's see.
I want to roast some. Mom, can I roast some, Mom?
All right, so now I got to shape this into a neat ball, huh?
Yeah, why sticky.
It is very sticky, yep. All right.
Now what can I do?
And shape into a neat ball.
Now I got all my hands.
You know, kids will definitely tell you how it is. Okay.
I never get mine into a ball.
I'll help you in just a minute, sweetie. All right, so I got it into a neat ball. And then we are going to place in a lightly oiled bowl. Okay.
This got sticky hands.
So lightly oiled, got it in the bowl. And I'm going to cover it and leave it to rise for 1 to 2 hours until it doubled in size. So this is going to take a little while. It's going to be hard for her and me. 1 to 2 hours. All right. It's been just at an hour, but I do think they're ready. It has definitely doubled in size. I mean, look at that. It filled that bowl. Looks good. Anyway, so what we need to do is turn it out and knead it for 30 seconds to knock out any large air pockets. Okay, that was about 30 seconds. So I'm just going to put a little bit more flour on because it kind of took up most of my flour there. And then we're going to roll out the dough to about a 1 to 2 centimeter thick. So it's actually going to be pretty thick here. We're only going to get 10 to 12 donuts in here. So it's not like I'm making, large quantities. It doesn't necessarily matter, I guess, the shape, because I'm just going to cut them out. I don't want to flatten it too much. Okay, is that 1 to 2 centimeters? Yeah. Okay. So I have a 7 centimeter ring and a 3 centimeter ring to make the donut. So what it says is just to, using a floured cutter. I'm going to put a little bit more flour on my thing. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp out as many as I can of the big one. And then I need to use the smaller one to stamp out the middle. Or as close to the middle as I can get. And then I'm going to save these and make little rounds. So then I'm supposed to gather the trimmings, but in order to do that, I'm going to move these guys out of the way. So I'm just going to take my made donuts and put them on my trays. I've got them floured. It said to flour my baking tray, so I'm just going to lay it on there. Didn't necessarily say how much flour or how far apart to put them. I mean, because they're going to prove for another hour, I think. Yeah, until it doubled in size. So I want to make sure I give them plenty of space. So I'm just thinking that theoretically, if you wanted just more ring donuts, you could just re-roll your the circles, the middles, too. I don't really mind having circles or the donut holes. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm just going to leave all the holes I cut as holes. But I don't see why you couldn't just cut those back in there. Okay. Ooh, that is definitely kind of stretching in. Do you see it kind of rebel as it came back in here? Or shrink? Okay, so now that I've got my 10 to 12 donuts, it's more than that. I've got like 16, so maybe mine are a little thicker. But anyway, they're all neatly floured on the tray. You're supposed to put them in a proving bag. But I can't seem to find those. And I used like a large zipper bag, like a 2-gallon bag one time, and it worked fine. So if you have one of those, great. I don't have one of those currently. So I might just let it prove covered under a dish towel. It's what I got. So I'm going to prove it for 1 more hour or until doubled in size. Okay, it has been an hour since I have cut and shaped my donuts. They're looking really good. They've risen quite nicely. It's actually been a little over an hour. Um, I just, by the time I got everything set up, and we're ready to go. So I've got my oil up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually a little bit higher than that right this second, 180 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to start frying these. So it says to do it 2 or 3 at a time. For about 2 minutes on either side until they're golden brown. So I'm going to give it 2 minutes. Okay, I'm noticing that my temperature spiked up to 400 like after I threw those in, so I'm hoping that doesn't brown them too much. It might. So I'm just gonna. They've only been in there for 30 seconds. I'm gonna flip them though because they're way too dark. All right, way too hot. Obviously, way too hot. I've got a temperature gauge in here. Okay, those are trash. Wow. Okay. That was terrible. Those were way too hot, obviously, but my thermometer said 350. I don't know. So I've got to let it cool back down because that was obviously not right. Oh well, that's why I only throw in a couple. All right, we're gonna try this again. I think I've got it back down, but I'm relying on my thermometer, and I probably should just go based on my gut. But anyway, I'm just gonna put a donut hole in this time. You can see the thermometer says it's in the deep fry area. Okay, that looks like a gentler fry. We'll see. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, those first two are just crispy is all there is to it. Okay, I just did that one for a 1 minute on one side and it still looks a little brown. So I don't know if I would do 2 minutes. Like, it seems maybe I've still got it kind of hot, but that's really toasty looking. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be my worst one yet. Well, that one doesn't look any less brown. Anyway, I don't really know. I'm going to go less time on them. But I don't know what else to do. So we're going to try a couple of them this time, but probably 30 seconds. Okay, those look much better at 30 seconds on either side. So that's what I'm going with. Also, fun fact, the little balls don't want to flip over right. So, you have them for 30 seconds and you try to flip them and then they just kind of buoy back right to where they were. Okay, the first two round, actual donut looking ones, they were closer to 2.5 minutes total. So we'll see if that's right. Again, I won't really know until I break them open, right? while I'm still frying up all of my donuts, they're turning out a lot better. My oil is definitely cooling down. So as that happens, it's getting longer and longer for them to cook, which is fine. I just don't know why my thermometer said it was ready when it clearly was way over ready earlier. But anyway, so I'm gonna let those keep going and finishing up. They're getting closer to the 2 minutes per side, so I guess maybe my thermometer is just messed up. But what they do suggest you do after you set them in the kitchen paper, paper towels, to drain, that you can dust with castor sugar to serve. Okay, so I'm going to do that. But then I also like to sprinkle cinnamon and sugar on top of my donuts when I make them. I don't ever make them like this. I just take like a biscuit dough, but this is much more fancy. So I'm just gonna, flip these real quick because they're probably ready. Yep. And I'm gonna dust some of these in my castor sugar. I just put some castor sugar in a pan. I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to like sprinkle it over. It just says dust, so I don't know. And then they'll look all pretty by the time I'm done with these. All right, we are ready to taste, and of course, my daughters are ready to partake in that part, right? You want to taste a donut? Yeah. So like I said, once they were done frying, all I did was just coat them in a little castor sugar because that's what it said to do. But girls, you want to pick a donut? That one, you've been eyeing that one this whole time, haven't you?
This one.
That one? Okay. Pick it up. Well, I like how light and airy it is, honestly. I'm not sure how good you're going to be able to see that, but it does have a nice structure. Yeah. The castor sugar is just a nice little sweet touch on top. You're going to poke it too? Yeah. They're good. They're really good. I like them. They're a lot of work. Frying a donut is not my favorite. I don't love that. The first part was not too hard, mixing it and everything, but it's a good little donut. Maybe Krispy Kreme has a run for their money. Anyway, what do you think, girls? Do you like them? Yeah? Okay. Stamp of approval from the girls.
They're a little salty.
That's not salt, that's sugar, but okay. Anyway, that is my latest bake from the Great British Baking Show Cookbook Love to Bake. If you like this video, please thumbs up and then subscribe so that you can see when our next bake comes out. And I've always got some good, helpers to help me taste everything, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, everybody, we will see you next bake. Do you guys want to come try a donut? Okay. I know you do. I know.